Izumi, let me, you sit on you're also on the global board of IIRC. You also sit on the board of Mitsui company as an external director and many other companies. And you're also on a directors alliance body. So with your seniority, what are you picking up, in terms of SDGs and what are the thoughts that private sector have on SDGs in Japan? Can you take us with us very briefly, 3 minutes intervention?
Okay. In Japan, generally, SDGs are pretty natural for private sector to take in, because we have historic tradition that the three-dimension business benefit. So it is the owner of the business and employee and the society, including the customer. So SDG is pretty natural for the Japanese business. So in actually 2017, Japan Business Federation, which is the biggest business organization in Japan, revised the Charter of Corporate Behavior to deliver on the SDGs through realization of Society 5.0. I don't talk much about the Society 5.0, but to that vision, the business strategy is clever. It is very challenging to realize that to make that the vision to action, and because to meet the SDGs, it's cost a lot for short term, and also sometimes that each SDG agenda is facing a contradiction. So many companies are struggling reality that how the company takes SDGs and ESGs into their business strategy. I just to quickly introduce my experience for the company. Two companies I'm engaged. The one is the trading company Mitsui. The Mitsui decided to stop new investment for coal mining and plan to reduce the oil and gas portfolio step by step, which is not that quick, but I think that to achieve the zero emission by 2050. Actually, that the natural resource, especially oil and gas, is a big part of a portfolio. So it is not an easy decision. The board had a lot of meetings, discussions, and even though we did the board camp to discuss that how the strategy of the company business strategy versus the ESG SDGs, and we made the very tough decisions to change our business portfolio. So I think that is one thing, and also that the other company which is the financial industry, that the financial industry also faced a lot of pressure to meet the ESG SDG goals, and the company I participated as a board member, the company has a lot of the discussion with the investors, and also the pressure from the various party of the NPO, NGOs to change the business plan. So finally decided not to stop lending for coal power plant, which is very difficult because still Japanese government aim to export advanced coal power plant technology to developing countries. So this is not the easy decision, but I think for me, experiencing for these two cases, it is very important to make the decision and for the company to change the directions for really to meet the SDGs and the ESG goals. But to do that, I think that the board engagement is critical. The board has to make the tough decisions and to encourage the management and the employees to change their business. And also to make the clear timeline to achieve its goals, and we have to have a KPI to monitor them. Also, to understand that it may increase the cost for short term, but at the same time that we have to communicate with investors that it is the benefit for the benefit and also the business sustainability for long term. So those kind of things that we have to do it to realize that to achieve the goal of the SDGs, ESGs. In case in Japan, the climate change is the biggest challenge, and I think that we have still very behind to achieve the goals. So I think we need to do many step-by-step activities and argument, and we have to also make sometimes very challenging conversation with government as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Izumi. I think you said that the general feeling is that SDGs costs. My response to that is that it is in the enlightened self-interest of the businesses to think long-term and initially pick up this cost. But towards the later part of your intervention, you yourself has said that it's extremely important to engage with the board and set certain KPIs. But even more important is to engage with the investors, because it is the investors, if they are convinced that it is in the long-term interest of the company, then probably the cost part, it's a bogey actually. It's not a real problem, because we have seen the companies which have been socially responsible and environmentally very, very active and agile have always done better, and there are lots of empirical evidences around the world.
Yeah, actually, that the biggest pressure for the corporation in Japan was that the government pension investment fund decided to do the investment purchasing the equity of the company who meets the ESG standard. So that is the biggest the pressure for private company to change.
Okay. So we will definitely, this is a takeaway for us in our academy. So I was saying, Izumi, thanks for that. We will at the academy try and engage with Japanese boards, and I'll need your support and help, when we engage with the vision which Mervyn has unfolded for us, when we engage with Japanese companies. Thank you.